set up in the van. Bit of an experiment. I hope to find some inspiration and go and take some photos somewhere. I've got a drone with me, but it's actually quite windy, so I don't really think I'm going to even attempt to fly the drone. But it's one of those things, better to have it with me than not. And currently heading down to the Prom in Douglas, just to drive along there, show you all the roadworks that's going on down there. That's taking forever. It's probably going to take, I think it's due to, well, it was due to finish this year, I believe, but now I think it's next year. But yeah, it is taking ages. It's one hell of a mess. They don't just do, they don't seem to want to do one bit at a time. They just seem to dig up randomly all over the place. So yeah, anyway, a bit of an experiment. It's not going to be a moan, and hopefully I will get to take some photos as well and try to document them. My new GoPro, the GoPro 8, that I've got plenty of batteries for. My old GoPro 5, that I seem to have lost 2 batteries. So unless the new batteries fit in it, which I think they do, they will physically fit. Whether it will operate or whether it will catch fire, I don't know. Then I may swap batteries over in that as well. But my main one is my GoPro 8, and I've got a Rode mic just here, remote mic, so hopefully when I'm outside, the actual, if it's windy, which it is, hopefully the sound will be massively improved over my previous effort. So yeah, at the moment heading down into to drive along the seafront in Douglas, and it'll just be interesting to see how busy it is. Really, it's 20 past 10, which is kind of still a bit early, I suppose, for a Saturday. I don't know. I'm not expecting it to be dead, because we're not in isolation or anything over here. Obviously we're being recommended to do social distancing, which is fine. When you're out, when you're a Billy No Mates out taking photos, then you don't really bump into people, so I'm not going to be going through crowds of people or anything like that. At the moment the boats, or the ferry and the planes are still running, but that is going, well, the ferry will probably carry on running no matter what, because it brings in the freight as well. So I don't think there's any way that they can stop that. Whether they'll stop passengers, I don't really know. Planes are decreasing dramatically. Very few planes coming in now, which actually from a drone pilot's point of view could be quite good, because it might enable me to work with the tower and have more freedom in flying around Castletown, because I would really love to get some aerial shots of Castletown, but that'll be in the coming weeks, because as with everybody, I can't see this being over anytime soon. I think this is going to be a long drawn out situation that we all unfortunately find ourselves in. So normally along there, you can park along there now because of all these roadworks everywhere that you'll be seeing in the cameras. Normally by now there would be limited parking, and by now I'd say there's limited parking. So it looks like the town is going to be pretty much not a lot different. I know some shops have shut. TK Maxx have shut. M&S have shut their cafe. H. Samuels have changed their hours. River Island, I believe, has shut. I'm not 100% sure on River Island. I'm not going into town. I've got no reason to go into town, and I'm brassy skin anyway, so I couldn't even I couldn't go shopping even if I wanted to. So yeah, no hoarding for me. Mainly because I can't hoard, can't buy. Can't wait for payday. What's this guy doing? I don't think he knows. I think he's trying to work out how to get into. That's part of the problem with all this roadworks. Normally you have to go across the traffic there to park in that along the front. And this guy in front of me clearly couldn't work out where that was, and that's not a criticism of him, because it can be a bit of a nightmare actually. The thought process, we've now got someone driving up the wrong way up the road. That's just mad. Why has he just done that? Well, I'll have it on film. See, the road's driving up that side. So what he should have done is come down here, turned round at some point, and then gone back. But he hasn't. So yeah, there you go. This is Douglas Prom. The mess that is. Looks like it's a high tide, or it is pretty close to being high tide at the moment. There's a few waves. So that's it. I will probably turn off the GoPros in a minute to try and conserve battery, and then hopefully you will rejoin me later on when I'm trying to take some photos, when my mind allows me to think of somewhere to go. Right, so at present I've decided to stop at Groudle Glen, and I'm going to walk up to the little railway line. There's about a half-mile small railway, I don't know what they call it, narrow gauge railway line that goes up to an area called Sea Lion Rock. So I'm going to walk along there. I've got my camera and my tripod. I'm carrying my camera for once in my bag, so that I've got all my filters, and I'm going to take some photos with my camera. I haven't brought my drone because it is super breezy, and if I like the location, then it's a place that I'll come back to in the future. So for now, I'm going to shut the GoPro down, and I will endeavour to record what photos I take, or at least I'll show you the views when I get there. So for now, talk in a bit. So as you can see, I'll turn around just in case the wind noise is rubbish. The views of the coastline ain't too shabby at all. Very nice. and there's the little end station. So it's only a very short track. At the moment the trains aren't running, hence it's perfectly safe for me to be walking along the track. So yeah, see you in a bit. Right, I've made it to the station, or the end of the track there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave my kit on these nice picnic benches provided for me. I'm going to have a little bit of a wander round, see if I can find any compositions I like, and then if I find any, then I will come back, get my kit, and talk you through the thought process. I'll take you with me for now. Battery life is 38% on this GoPro, but I have got more GoPro batteries that will fit in this one. So looks to be a gate here. Yep. Use at your own risk, which is fine. I think in a minute when I get the camera, I've got a feeling there's quite a few photos to be had here. If I can find any leading lines, or certainly I'm imagining the filters will be out, and I'll try and do some long exposure. I'll probably do time lapse because I'm here on my own, so I might do a lengthy time lapse. But this is, I believe this area used to be sea lion rock, so there's got to be a composition there. It's quite high up actually. Got to be a composition there, hasn't there? Yeah, this is a nice location. Definitely come back with a drone. I don't know if the GoPro will pick it up, but there's a little bit of a structure over there as well. I'll probably try and get some photos of that. Some nice big waves. Yeah, it's pretty cool here. Pretty cool. Some rock pools down here. So we'll see what we can achieve. But for now, I'm gonna just explore a little bit on my own, and then I'll come back to you. Right, so like I've previously tried to point out, that's my trusty tripod, the Benro Mac 3 with the ball head, and then in my camera bag I have problems with the wind. Turn that round so the wind blows out that way. Right, so I've got my wide angle Samyang 14mm 2.8. That's my wind meter for my drone, and as a matter of test, let's put you down and see how windy it is here. Meters per second, unit kmh, right, miles an hour. Right, so the wind is currently averaging about 15 miles an hour, which for the drone could cope with that, but it's the gusts. So it's currently hovering between 12 and 15, so not too bad really. I probably could have flown the drone, but it's just not worth risking it. So, oh, it's just gone up to 17, 18 miles an hour. So very useful gadget that. Not required for what I'm doing today, but it proves to me that I was right not to bring my drone. I've then got my Canon 5D Mark IV. The cap is because on the front of my 24-105 lens I've got the Lee filter adapter. I've also got my 70-200 2.8, but I won't be using that today. Then got my filter holder, which clamps on like so, and then you lock it into place. So that's safe as houses now. I got the L bracket so I can do landscape and portrait, and then I've got a range of filters, gradient filters, but then I've also got my big stopper, which is the sunglasses, and I've also got the polarizer. So I'm going to go down and take some shots now. I'll take the big stopper and the polarizer with me, and take it from there. Right, so the first photo I'm trying to take is that. I'm trying to get the movement of the waves, and I'm trying to time it perfectly so that you've got the movement from the ocean or the sea, but then you've got the calmness of this little pool. So I'm trying to get the contrast between the two. So at the moment I'm at f8, and I want to get the shutter speed as fast as possible, so I might drop the f to 6.3. So I'm going to try for 400ths of a second. I'm also going to take it off the timer because I'm trying to time it perfectly. If I use the timer, then by the time the 2 seconds kicks in, I might have missed the shot. So something like that, but it's still it's a shot that's going to take a little while to play around with. And then once I've done that, then I will more than likely I'll then put the big stopper on and go for a much longer, ideally 15 seconds or so, to try and freeze the water totally. But yeah, I'm going to play around with this for a little while, and then I will catch up with you on the next shot.
Your body talks to me, it takes control of me. You make me crazier than a lunatic.
So my next composition is just this coastline. While I had the 10 stopper on, I've taken a few shots already. That was just because I had it already on, but now I'm going to revert to a much faster shutter speed and try and actually capture the waves crashing up. They seem to be, no pun intended, I think you got the 7th wave rule. So I'm going to try and study them, count them, and try and capture some of the waves crashing up over this rock just here. They're not doing...
Liberate, liberate, don't forget me that way. It's a different taste.
Not doing at the moment, but in a minute some will crash up. In fact, there was one just down there. So I'm going to try and capture those, and then I will probably set off a bit of a time lapse, try and get about 10 seconds of time lapse footage, see how that comes out. So yep, catch you in a bit. There's a few places I'd like to get to, but I can't work out how to get to them, so I may move on somewhere else, but for now I'll just leave you with a little bit of wave action. Incidentally, we had quite a dramatic set of waves just now. It was crash after crash after crash. It was quite cool. So, it's one hell of a location. It's funny, I've never been here before. All on my own. Who needs self-isolation at home, eh? When you can get out. Luckily I can still get out. How long that'll last for, I don't know, but I'm certainly going to take advantage of it while I can. And then I guess there'll be a lot of cataloguing of photos and video going on just to pass the time. And maybe a bit of learning, try to teach myself Photoshop properly, because it's quite a beast, is Photoshop. Yeah, what I was saying is, what is it about GoPros and their shoddy batteries? Why can't the GoPros have a decent battery? I mean, I don't know what these are, a milliamp, but they're rubbish. 1200 milliamps. Anyway, just around the corner there's some rope hanging across from one side to the other. It doesn't look like there's any kind of bridge, so I'm going to come back with a drone. Hope.
You say jealousy suits me, so I wear it quietly. You turn me into a lunatic. Liberate, liberate, don't forget me that way. It's a different taste.
Hopefully, maybe tomorrow, if it's calmer, and just fly the drone around and just see what it's all about. I noticed that by climbing down on the rocks a little way. So yeah, I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna put that GoPro, the used battery, in there, and now I've got to swap over my camera battery as well. Now they are better. The only reason that's dead is because I haven't charged it. and I know there's one in there, so I'm not going to panic quite yet. There's my spare battery. Hopefully it's got charge. No, that's dead. So that's the end of it. That's the end of my morning anyway. I've got to go back and charge my batteries now. What an idiot. Yep, that's it. Ugh. Oh well, good job. I've got some photos, so it's still only 11:30, so I'm going to pack up and head back to the van and then go home, get my batteries all charged up, and then probably go out again in a couple of hours' time. So I will catch you on the next trip maybe. Thank you for watching. See ya.